Now in this lecture we are going to define the product of subgroups, and we will see that the product of subgroups need not be subgroup. We will also determine under which condition product of subgroup will be a subgroup, and we will also determine what will be the order of product of subgroup. So product of subgroups. So suppose that G is a group and HK are two subgroups of G. So HK are two subgroups of G. Now define HK. So by writing HK we mean there is a operation of the group in between them, and by writing HK we mean HK the collection of this type of element such that H is in H and K is in K. So this small k belongs to capital K. So for example, if I take two subgroups, suppose I take G to be S3 and I take a subgroup H to be identity 1 2 and K to be identity 2 3, then what is HK? HK is some first element of H. First we will take the element of H and the second element will be from K. So this into this, so identity into identity is identity, identity into 2 3, that is 2 3, then 1 2 into identity, so 1 2, and at last 1 2 into 2 3. So what will be the set? So this set will be identity 2 3 1 2, and here 1 is going to 2, 2 is going to 3, and 3 is going to 1, so it is 1 2 3. Similarly, if you take KH, so KH what will be the first elements from here? So identity into identity, identity into 1 2 is 1 2, 2 3 into identity is 2 3, and 2 3 into 1 2 is 1 3 2. So you may take the product and this will be a set. So this HK is called product of H and K. Now as you can see from this example that one thing you can observe that HK is not equal to KH in this example. So the question is it always true that HK is not equal to KH? So the one thing. Second thing is that if you see HK or you see KH are not subgroup. The order of this set is 4 and there is not any subgroup of order 4 inside S3, because by Lagrange's theorem the order of the subgroup should divide the order of the group. So it is not a subgroup. Similarly KH is also not subgroup. So HK and KH are not subgroup. Third thing is that if you see that the order of HK is same thing as order of H into order of K in this example. So the question is it always true that the order of HK will be order of H into order of K? We will investigate these three things during this lecture. So let us take another example. Suppose I am taking G to be a group Q8. Suppose I am taking G to be So another example, G to be group Q8 and take H to be its subgroup 1 minus 1 I minus I and K to be 1 minus 1 J minus J. So I take two subgroups and let us determine what is HK. So let us multiply all these things, 1 minus 1, 1 will to everyone, minus j, and minus 1 to everything, you will get the same thing, then I, then so you will have I minus I, and when you will multiply these two, you will get k and minus k. So it is the whole Q8 too. So this is whole Q8. And similarly, if you will calculate KH, I am leaving it as exercise, just try to calculate KH, you will again get Q8. So in this example, if we observe that HK is equal to KH, in this example, second thing, HK and KH are subgroup. Subgroup because the group is itself a subgroup. Third thing is that the order of HK, which is 8, is not equal to the order of H into order of K because it is 16. So it means that this thing, in this example we have seen HK is not equal to KH, and in this example we have seen that HK is equal to KH. So it is not always true that HK is equal to KH or HK is not equal to KH. And also this is also not a valid thing that HK is equal to order of H into order of K. So what we will do in this lecture, so we will do the two things. So let me write two facts which we will investigate through observations, and the fact is that order of HK is always equal to order of H into order of K upon order of H intersection K. One thing you should always keep in mind, for writing this thing we must have both should be finite. So for two finite subgroups H and K, order of H into order of K upon order of H intersection K will give you the order of HK. And the fact number 2 is that HK is equal to KH if and only if HK is subgroup. So let me write in short, HK is a subgroup of G. So these are the two things which we will investigate during our lecture. So let me come to the point. So now let us observe some of the things. So observation number 1, define a map. If we define a map F from H cross K to HK. So what is H cross K? H cross K is simply the Cartesian product of two sets, that is elements of the form HK such that H is in H and K is in K. So this type, the collection of these types of elements. So define a map. How will you define the map? So this is for your knowledge. So the map is defined as, define a map F as F of HK is equal to HK. So we have sent this ordered pair to the product of these two elements, and here in between there is an operation of the group G. Okay. Now for any element Hk of Hk. So note one thing, that any element of this Hk will be of the form Hk, where h, small h is in capital H and small k is in capital K. So for any element Hk of Hk, there exists a pair Hk such that I have made a pair of this element h comma k such that f of Hk is equal to Hk. So this means that that f is onto. So this is an onto map. This is an onto map. So the question is it also injective? If it is onto and if it is injective, then order of this will become equal to order of this, because the cardinality of both the sets will become same, and the order of h cross k or cardinality of h cross k is just the order of h into order of k, as they are just the order pair. Okay. So now let us think over it. So is this map is injective or not? So take an element Hk in Hk. So let us take an element Hk in Hk. Then h comma k, as we have seen just now, belongs to f inverse Hk. Note one thing, f inverse means the collection of those elements, those h1 k1, such that f of h1 k1 is equal to hk. F inverse does not mean that f is bijective, then we are talking about the inverse of the map. We are just talking about the inverse image of an element. So if this is the map f and I have taken one element hk, then its inverse image will be a subset here, and we are talking about that subset. This will be f inverse, and for defining this subset we need not to take f to be bijective map. So whether f is bijective or not, we can always talk about f inverse of hk. Okay, so suppose I take so this element belongs to f inverse of hk because its image is hk. If this map is injective, then f inverse of hk will have only one element. Okay, so let us check whether it is injective or not. So suppose I take an element h1 k1 in f inverse of hk, so this is f inverse of hk. Then what will happen is that f of h1 k1 will be equal to hk. This f of h1 k1 will be equal to hk, and but by the definition of f of h1 k1, this is h1 k1 is equal to hk. If this is the situation, then what will happen is that you may take this h to be this side and this k to be this side, means we will multiply both right hand side and left hand side by h inverse from left. So when we will multiply it by h inverse, so it will be h inverse h1, and we will multiply by k inverse from right, so it will become k1 inverse. So where this H, K, H1, K1, so H and H1 are elements of H1 and H are elements of H, and K1 and K are elements of K. Okay, now these two elements are from H, so their product, this element will also be in H and this element will be in K, but both the elements are equal. So it means both the elements belongs to the set H inverse K. So let me write it here. So this H inverse H is equal to this K inverse. This belongs to H intersection K. Why? Because this is an element of H and this is an element of K, and both are equal. Means this element also belongs to K and this element also belongs to H. So both elements belongs to the intersection. Okay, so yeah, here there is 1 and here there is 1. So let me call it equal to some element L of H intersection K. So let me call it L. Now what will happen is that, now from here H inverse H1 is equal to L is equal to K, K1 inverse. So this implies H1 is equal to HL, and from here we can write K1 as equal to K1 is equal to K. So one second, L inverse K. So we can write it like this. So if I take, so this implies we have taken H1 K1 in the inverse image. So H1 and K1 will have this form. It means the set of elements of the form. So let me write for H1 K1. So HL L inverse K will belongs to F inverse HK, where L belongs to H intersection K. But also for any L in H intersection K, if we apply F on the elements any, so let me take L1 here. So HL1, L1 inverse K will be, the image by definition will be HL1, will be HL1, L1 inverse K. So it will become HK. So this means that two things we have shown. One thing is that if I take one element in this set, then that element will be of this form. And another thing we have shown that the image of this type of element will be inside this. So what does it mean? If I make a set to be the element of the form H, L, L inverse K, such that L belongs to H intersection K. So we have shown two things. One thing is that if I take one H1 K1 in F inverse of HK, then that H1 K1 as we have seen here, this H1 K1 is of this form, h1k1 is equal to this element. So means that this h1k1 belongs to, let me give some name for this set, let me call it L. So this h1k1 belongs to L. But the fact is that any element, image of any element of this set is hk. So the fact is that L is contained in F inverse of hk. So L is contained in F inverse of hk, but from here, because if we take any element of F inverse hk, it is contained inside L. So this means F inverse of hk is contained inside L. So by this and by this, we can see that F inverse of hk is equal to this set hk hl L inverse of k such that L is in H intersection k. Now if I ask you how many elements are there in F inverse of hk, then its number is same as the number of element in this set, order of L. This set is L. So what does it mean? But how many elements this set have? In this set, H and K are fixed. The only thing which varies is L, and L belongs to H intersection K. So it means this set has cardinality equal to H cardinality of H intersection K. Okay, so inverse image of each of the element will have the number of element equal to the order of H intersection K. So if H intersection K is trivial, then this map is 1 1, and if H intersection K is not trivial, then this map is not 1 1. That's why in the two examples which we have discussed, in one example have order of H intersection K was trivial, and in one example have order of H intersection K was of order 2. So now F is a map from this set to this set. This is H cross K, and this set is HK. And now for each element we have a inverse image, and as you know that this inverse image, if we consider for any map the inverse image of the elements of this set, then it will cover the whole domain. So we can write that H cross K is actually the disjoint union. This symbol is used for disjoint union HK in HK and F inverse of HK. So if I want to count the number of element in H cross K, then this is same thing as the summation, the number of element in F inverse HK. This K is an element of capital K. So this is HK, and this HK belongs to HK. Now but we know that number of elements in each of the set is equal to the order of H intersection K, and this HK belongs to HK. So it means this is nothing but H intersection K, the sum of this up to the number of elements in HK. So this will turns out to be like this, H cross K. So this implies the order of HK is equal to the order of H cross K upon H intersection K. But the order of H cross K, as we know, this is order of H into order of K upon order of H intersection K. So this is the formula. So we prove, or we observe this fact, that the order of HK will be order of H into order of K upon order of H intersection K. Okay, so Now come to the fact number 2 or observation number 2. So now we will prove actually this HK. So let us prove this. So suppose HK is equal to KH, we will show that HK is a subgroup. So we will show that HK is a subgroup of G. So if E denotes the identity of the group, then E will also be an identity element of H and E will also be an identity element of K, because H and K are the subgroup, and E can be written as E into E, so belongs to HK. This implies HK is non-empty. Now take two elements, H1 K1 and H2 K2 in HK. We are to show that HK is a subgroup, so I take two elements H1 K1 and H2 K2 in HK. Now what will happen is that to show that it is a subgroup, we have to show that H1 K1 into H2 K2 inverse belongs to HK. This is what we want to show. We want to show that this belongs to HK. So now what is this element? Let me call it X. So X is equal to, this implies X is equal to H1 K1 K2 inverse H2. We can write it like this. Now one thing, K1 K2 inverse is an element of capital K, because capital K is a subgroup. So let me write K3 for K1 K2 inverse. So we can write it as this K3 and H2. We can write it like this. Now this K3H2, this K3H2 belongs to KH, because capital K is an element of, because K3 is an element of capital K and H2 is an element of H. But KH is equal to HK. So this is also an element of HK, but all the elements of HK will be of the form some element of H into some element of K. So we can write it as, for some H3 in H and some K4 in K, we can write it as H3 into K4, where this H3 belongs to H and K4 belongs to K. Okay, so let me write it here. So H1, H3, K4. Now H1 S3 is again an element of capital H, so let me write in place of H1 S3 as H4 K4. So H1 K4, so where H4 belongs to H and is equal to H1 H3, so like this. So this means that this element belongs to HK, so hence HK is a subgroup. So hence HK is a subgroup of G. So if HK is equal to KH, then HK is a subgroup. Now conversely, suppose HK is a subgroup of G. So what we have shown is that HK is equal to KH. This implies, this direct implication we have shown here. And now I am going to show the reverse part, that if HK is a subgroup of G, then HK is equal to KH. So take an element HK in HK. We will show that this element will belongs to KH. Okay, so then this implies HK inverse is equal to K inverse H inverse belongs to HK. Why? Because HK is a subgroup. We have assumed that this HK is a subgroup. Now, but this element belongs to HK, but here it is K inverse and it is H inverse, but each element of HK is of the form H into K. So this implies K inverse H inverse is equal to some element H1 and K1, where H1 is in H and K1 is in K. So now what? So this implies that, now again take the inverse on both the side. So we will have HK is equal to H1 K1 inverse. So this implies K1 inverse H1 inverse, but this belongs to KH. So this HK which was in HK also belongs to KH. So this implies HK is contained in KH. Again, conversely, we will show that this is contained in this. So take a KH in KH. This implies KH inverse, which is equal to H inverse K inverse, and because this is in H and this is in K, so it will belongs to HK. But because HK is a subgroup, its inverse is in HK, so this implies KH is in HK. So if I take one element in KH, then that element will belongs to HK also. So it means this KH is contained in HK. So this implies KH is equal to HK, because we have shown that this is contained in this and this is contained in this, so both are equal. So it means if both are equal, then this is a subgroup. If this is a subgroup, because it is equal to KH, so KH is also a subgroup. And conversely, if HK or KH is a subgroup, then both are equal. Okay. So one thing which may confuse you here while proving, and that thing is that why not we write H1 K1, because if HK is equal to KH, is it not true that H1 K1 is equal to K1 H1? Why don't we write it like this? We have taken another example Q8, and in Q8 we have taken H to be 1 minus 1 Ij and K to be 1 minus 1, sorry, I minus I, and K to be 1 minus 1 J minus J. As you can see that HK is equal to KH, but it simply, what is I into J? I is an element here and J is an element here. I into J is K, but this is not equal to J into I. Both sets are equal, it does not mean that element will start commuting each other. So that's why this Ij, which is K, is not equal to this element, but it is equal to some another element of this KH, and that element is minus J into I. So we can write it like this. So that's why while taking that this is equal to some element, we have taken one set of element here and another set of element, one set of element here, then this is another set of element, because they may differ. So I's and J's differ. So it may happen that both differ. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, thank you.